Hello and welcome to our overview of the Melbourne 2012 Grand Prix. I'm Sam.
And I'm Josh. And this marks the pilot episode of a series of F1 pre-shows, which will be following the season's developments and lead-ups to each race.
So let's start with the history of the track. The Australian Grand Prix is first run in 1928. The first international Grand Prix was run in 1985 on the Adelaide Street Circuit, and that ran until 1996 when it was moved to Melbourne, to Albert Park. This year will be the 17th time the race has been included into the International F1. It's a street circuit, so it's just normal roads for the rest of the year, and then for the month of March it's closed off and is set up for the Formula 1. Last year saw Vettel, Hamilton and Petrov take the top three spots, with the Australian Webber coming fifth. Ricciardo, the other Australian who was racing this year, hadn't started, and so it'll be interesting to see him on this circuit. Only 14 drivers managed to finish last year. 1 not classified, 2 disqualified, 5 retired, and 2 did not qualify. The lap record is 1 minute 24.125 seconds, and that was set by Schumacher in 2004. It goes for 58 laps. A single lap is 5.303 kilometres. The full 58 is 307.574 kilometres. It runs for about an hour and 30 minutes.
And now for an overview of the teams racing in the 2012 Formula 1 Championship. We've got a number of changes this year, not so much in the ownership or function of the teams, but more in the naming and, quote, official constructors of the teams. So we have Red Bull Racing, Vodafone McLaren Mercedes, Scuderia Ferrari, Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team, Lotus F1, which is renaming of the former Lotus Renault GP team. We have Force India, we have Sauber F1, Scuderia Toro Rosso, Williams F1, Caterham F1, which is renaming of the former Team Lotus team. We have HRT, and Marussia F1 team, which is a rebranding of the former Virgin team. Okay, for a quick overview or a refresher of some of the introductions from 2011, which are carrying over to 2012, we have the DRS and the KERS systems. So for those of you who don't know, the DRS is a drag reduction system, and this is a pretty simple system whereby at certain points during the track, usually at one point during the track, if a driver is within a second of the driver in front of him at the trigger point, at the DRS point he is allowed to trigger DRS, which opens up the rear wing on the back of the car, which reduces the drag and gives them an increase in their top speed. Also, we have KERS, which is a kinetic energy recovery system, which is a form of generative braking on the Formula 1 cars. The energy can either be stored electrically through batteries or mechanically through a flywheel. This gives the driver an extra 61 kilowatts or 80 horsepower, which they can dispense throughout any point on the track, and they can store up to 400 kilojoules of energy at any one time. So now we'll go over a list of the rule changes for the 2012 season. First up is the ban on exhaust-blown diffusers. What started out as simply a banning on, quote, exotic engine mapping. A couple of teams had found a couple of loopholes to get around that, so now the rule explicitly disallows blowing exhaust gases over surfaces for aerodynamic advantage. We also have a ban on reactive ride height systems, which were designed to keep the car at a constant ride height regardless of vehicle speed. Also in the 2012 season, and most obvious by looking at the appearance of the cars, is that there are new regulations governing the height of the noses. So previously, there was a maximum height of 62.5 centimeters or 24.6 inches for your American listeners, and this has now been reduced to 55 centimeters or 22 inches, 150 millimeters ahead of the front bulkhead. So this has given a lot of the cars the sharp platypus-like look. The reason for this is that it was a way for the teams to comply with the new change in rules while still being able to utilise the chassis from the 2011 season. A consequence of this is that there is a new suspension setup for a lot of the teams. Due to the lower noses, the teams are now opting for a pull rod setup, which shifts the suspension components lower down opposed to a traditional push rod setup. Also, the use of helium-powered air guns has been banned. The helium-powered guns will give a 30% extra increase in speed of the air guns when changing a tyre, but this is deemed much too costly and really unnecessarily for the sport. Particularly commenting as a scientist, a absolute waste of helium, which is becoming a very scarce and much needed resource. And finally, in the 2012 season, they have imposed a 4-hour time limit on all races to prevent races from continuing indefinitely, which we saw in Canada last year during a very heavy rainstorm.
The footage in the background comes from the game F1 2011, and Josh is going to use that to show us a fast lap around the Melbourne track. Hopefully close to what it would look like if a real racer was going around the track.
Okay, starting off our hot lap, pulling onto the main straight at Albert Park, opening up the DRS, in 7th gear, hitting a top speed just shy of 315 km an hour, down to 3rd gear for the first corner, 2.38 Gs, 4th gear, 200 km an hour for corner 2, dropping down to 2nd gear for corner number 3, 3rd gear, 3.13 Gs, 6th gear, corner 5, 4.55 Gs, highest G-force of the track. Then down to 3rd gear, 2.9 Gs, corner 6, 286 km an hour at this stage of the track. Down to gear 3 for corner 9, 115 km an hour. Now into first part of the back part of the track. 290 km an hour for turn 11. Got gear 5, coming around corner number 12, 4.53 consecutive high G-force corner, right then left. Corner 13, 3rd gear, 2.9 Gs, 5th gear, 205 km an hour. And we drop right back to 2nd gear, 85 km an hour. Then gear 4, 2.6 Gs around corner 16. DRS opens again onto the back straight, front straight I should say. And that is a hot lap, a 1 minute 24.431 seconds around Albert Park.
Thank you for that, Josh. A nice hot lap around the Albert Park. Thank you for watching this, guys. We hope you've enjoyed it. And we hope to continue to make more in the future for each race throughout the year.
Formula 1 season?
Throughout the Formula 1 season, yes.
So yeah, looking forward to a good race. Hopefully you've found this informative, and hopefully Weber's curse system actually functions for the entire race.
I hope so too. The actual race is on the 18th, so this coming Sunday.
Yep, looking forward to a good race, and
We'll see you all
I think
later.
that's about it. Catch you later.